This is Movie Monster, and here's some more coverage of DOC NYC 2022. One of the more talked about aspects of DOC NYC is their annual Shortlist screenings, which present the 15 best documentary features and 15 best documentary shorts of the year. The lists often parallel much of the Academy's shortlist for the Best Documentary Oscar, and so it marks a good starting point for predictions. The 15 feature films on the shortlist this year are All That Breathes, All the Beauty and the Bloodshed, Beba, Descendant, Fire of Love, The Janes, Last Flight Home, Louis Armstrong's Black and Blues, Miha, Moon Age Daydream, Navalny, Retrograde, The Return of Tanya Tucker featuring Brandi Carlile, Senior, and The Territory. Some of these I plan to review or have already, but I figured I'd highlight some of the most notable ones. Fire of Love tells the story of the Crafts, a volcanologist couple who tragically perished together during an eruption. Extensive and stunning archival footage reveals the tragic story of a couple who were brought together by a fascination with a deadly yet beautiful part of nature and who aim to unravel its mysteries. Moon Age Daydream takes an unorthodox approach to music documentaries by presenting an entirely collage-based portrait of David Bowie. The extensive, immersive film delves deep into the mind of the artist and his otherworldly persona, while presenting never-before-seen footage. Navalny follows Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny after he is poisoned in an assassination attempt, and what follows unravels like a thriller that must be seen to be believed. Many of these are currently available on streaming or on demand. I strongly recommend watching as many of these as possible, as they are among some of the year's best films overall. Probably my favorite film I saw at the festival is an urgent documentary about media that may take place in one country, but whose message resonates on a global scale. In While We Watched, Ravish Kumar works as a journalist at India's NDTV and is one of the few truly independent voices on the country's television news. While the rest of the networks loudly attack those they feel aren't patriotic or nationalistic enough, Kumar takes the government to task, calls out the media, and spotlights the country's many unheard voices. He remains steadfast in his reporting, even as it costs him viewers and revenue. However, the cost doesn't end there. Despite the country being the world's largest democracy, Kumar's dissenting voice earns him violent threats on his life, and they possibly aren't just words. The documentary shows that the media's verbal attacks can lead to physical attacks in a climate marked by Hindu nationalism and Islamophobia. The atmosphere presented is less of a documentary and more of a thriller, yet Kumar will not quit, even as his staff becomes increasingly smaller. Kumar is incredibly inspiring in the film and how he sticks to his principles, as well as how he stands up to those who confront him. Now, one could see this as a documentary on how the current political climate in India affects independent journalism. However, this is definitely not merely a film about India. It's a film about anywhere free speech and journalism are threatened, even in a democratic setting, and much of the film definitely struck a chord with me as an American. If anything, much of the television footage featured isn't too far off from what you can see on TV in the US, if not making that look fair and well composed. I truly hope this becomes more widely available in the near future. The closing night screening at DOC NYC was The Conspiracy, a documentary that, despite its rough subject matter, was probably my most anticipated film at the festival. It hopes to make sense of modern anti-Semitism, specifically the persistent belief in Jewish control of various institutions, by going back to the origins of how this mentality began. The film reveals that despite a long history of persecution of Jews, the first inklings of the belief started after the French Revolution, and with anti-Jewish sentiment only part of the theory, before anti-Semitism took over completely, and with devastating results. The history is told primarily from the perspectives of three Jewish families, the Warburgs, the Dreyfuses, and the Bronsteins, although you may be more familiar with Lev Bronstein by another name, Leon Trotsky. However, a dilemma arose. The filmmakers felt this story had to be told, but how does one tell it when many of the events occurred before or during only the birth of moving pictures, and any archival footage available is already well worn? And what truly intrigued me about this documentary, the filmmakers decided to make a majority of it as an animated film, and not just any animated film either. Animated versions of the subjects bring the historical records to life, reciting their words, and visualizing historical events that are known but can't be shown. The style is also anything but conventional. 3D computer animation is mixed with elaborate 2D illustrated backgrounds in multiple art styles, photography, and real-life footage to create one of the most visually inventive animated films I've seen in a while, and it's all the more impressive given that the film had an extremely small animation crew. At the Q&A, the filmmakers said that they intended this film to be an educational tool, explaining how the modern anti-Semitic belief in a Jewish conspiracy started, and how even its roots don't hold up under logic. The mentality that animation can be used for a purpose like this is one that I wish was more widespread. There's too many people who still think that animation is primarily for children, and by that definition, disposable, and that animation for adults has to be more inappropriate than mature. Animated documentaries are still, probably by their nature, few and far between, and I believe it's fertile ground for the genre, with films like this conveying the full capabilities of the animated medium. I thought this film was incredibly effective in its intentions, and I applaud the festival for not only showing the film, but giving it major attention as the closing night screening. Okay, so what's your name?
Hi, I'm Dasha Bough. I'm the director of animation on The Conspiracy, an animated feature documentary about conspiracy theory and anti-Semitism.
And what do you have to say to people about this film? What do you want to say about people about this film?
What do I have to say? I hope it makes it out. I hope all of you see it. You should soon, in a few months. It's a lot of information to digest, but I think animation is the right medium to experience history through. I think it's an exciting medium, and it's an emotional medium. We had like an incredible score, incredible actors, and really lovely illustrators who worked for me. I'm excited for you guys to see it. I'd like to hear feedback.
That's all for now, and I hope to have more reviews for you soon.